What's up, people? Welcome to this episode of the By the Hood podcast or webcast because I don't know how you're consuming this content. I'm your host as always. My name is Jimmy, and as we start off every show, that's with gratitude. Shout out to all of our supporters. Special shout out to all the students from By the Hood University, the members of MDC Strategy, and the youth from the By the Hood Ownership Camp. Listen, my partner in crime is in the building. Core, what's up, good brother?
Man, I'm living La Vida Loca. Just trying to chill out, man. Everything is good. Every day above ground's a good day. I'm not going to complain about being alive, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And our podcast is dedicated to talking about all things Black wealth and personal finance. Just want to give a shout out to everybody also from who left. Listen, this last episode of Stack Sats or Die Trying got some of the best responses that I've gotten on the video literally in years. And it's probably because it was more of a PowerPoint and kind of a class as opposed to just a regular pod. I want to shout all y'all out because all that support is appreciated as we continue that journey. Friday, we have our Friday live show. So every Friday we are live, which we give away Bitcoin. That's Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And it airs on our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. So if you listen to the audio, pull up to our Friday show to get some free Bitcoin. Other than that, man, we're going to continue our flagship podcast, our Wednesday show, which is this show. Like I said, we talk about Black wealth and personal finance. I have an actual article to talk about today. We try to bring real life situations that happen to people and bring it to the show to see how you feel about it, and also just to discuss certain things. Because as we talk about building wealth, it's not as simple as just buying assets and minding your business. Although it is as simple as buying assets and minding your business. When it comes to relationships, family, dealing with the mental and emotional part of building wealth, these are the conversations we like to have. So I'm gonna read something. I'm gonna read this article. It will be in the show notes as well as the description, and we'll go from there. You know how we get down. So this article, by the way, is from Market Watch. Right here is the title of the article. It says, "I borrowed $20,000 from my mother in 1996, but hold on though, but only repaid $5,000. She deducted the entire loan from my inheritance. I need that money. What now?" Let me read a little bit of this article. By the way, this article reeks of all sorts of pale privilege, but I'm gonna read it to you. You're gonna see why. So it says, "Dear Quentin," and he's writing to a finance author that Quentin who takes stuff from Market Watch. Shout out to Quentin. It says, "When we sold our late mother's house here for $600,000, the equity was supposed to be divided equally by us 4 siblings, which would have been about $146,000 each. But in 1996, I borrowed $20,000 from my mother, interest-free, to help buy my condo. I promised to pay her back in 2 years. I managed to pay her back $5,000 in 6 months, but I made terrible decisions in my finances, and I lost my high-paying job. My budget couldn't afford to pay her back. I was terrified to tell her. She was extremely angry at the time, so she deducted $20,000 from my inheritance. Long story short, I defaulted on mom's loan. When mom made out her will, she produced my letter from 1996, which stated that I did not repay the loan. This is the only evidence of the transaction. I want to have the CPA redo the taxes to show that I paid part of the loan off." See what I mean? All right, it says, "When I called my sister, mom's power of attorney, she was so upset. She said, 'F you, never talk to me again.' And he was shocked. She has never talked to me this way in 75 years. I understand her anger because this is a mess, and she's a hero for doing such a wonderful job as power of attorney." He says, I too am upset, but I need every cent of my inheritance. I live in a semi-expensive assisted living facility, and I'm not in good health. On top of that, Medicare only pays part of my health bills. Do you have any suggestions on how to fix this mess without having to redo our taxes?" Now, this is a real life situation, and let's just let's break it down real fast.
There's so much junk in there,
So, and the reason I say, first of all, the reason it reeks of privilege is because, first of all, I don't even have anyone, say that I can go and get a down payment from to buy a property like that. So shout out to moms for a couple of reasons. For one, she came through when he needed the chicken. But for two, she was petty. She kept receipts. And she smacked him back even from the grave. She was like, "You owe me.
You gonna pay that."
Yeah. So shout out to moms for that, right? But things like this happen in real life. So I guess the overall question, first of all, I want you to comment on this specific article. And then the next question I want you to answer is your rules or thoughts on loaning money to family.
All right. So my thoughts on this particular article is this joint is like messy is the only word that makes sense here. Like it's just layers of mess. He borrowed money, didn't pay it back. Mom says snatch he's from the grave, and now he's fighting it. Like, doggy, like you made a bunch of bad decisions, and now you're making another set of bad decisions by fighting all of this. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, you just your decision making. The thing that is sticking out to me is the decision making of the person who sent them this letter. They have terrible decision making skills, and so, I mean, I don't know. That's just the thing that sticks out to me, like the terrible decision making skills of the person that is involved in this. They just stick out like a sore thumb. Like you made bad decisions, you admit to those bad decisions, and then you make it more on top of those bad decisions. The compound those bad decisions. Like
he asking about getting his CPA to commit fraud, yo.
Yeah, like dude is ratchet as hell. Like he ratchet as hell. I don't like what is wrong with you, boss?
So I guess let's get to the real question of the show. And get your thoughts on
my rules for lending to my family.
Yes.
I don't lend money to my family at all. I give it to them or I say no. I don't lend money to my family at all. So that's my rules on lending money to family.
Have you ever had, if you're willing to share, have you ever had any bad experiences with doing so?
That's why my policy is what it is. I've had a lot of bad experiences like that. So instead of me setting myself up to fail, I give it to them or I say no. Ain't no in between.
I had a great aunt who borrowed like 10 bands from me to buy a house. Similar situation. She was going to pay me back. Never paid me back. And that was like my last time. And honestly, I haven't spoke to her since. And this is probably 20 years. Like that's just what it is. Like, you know, that was my cost of knowing. That's my cost of knowing what kind of person you are. You my elder and you burn me. So, you know.
I mean, like I said, I don't because I know my family and I know the situations they in, and then also being a people person that knows people. I mean, somebody that's perpetually borrowing money really ain't in the position to pay you back. So you either got to give it to them or you got to say no. So, you know what I mean? That's just human nature.
No, I get that. And it's a learning experience, right? So, you know, you live and you learn, but it's always a difficult situation because just like you said, I've seen it, not just with me, with other people, where it literally can tear families apart. And at the end of the day,
it'll never tear me apart from my family because, like I said, if I can afford whatever they're asking me for, they can have it. You know what I mean? But if I can't,
but I'm not talking about you or me. I'm saying in general, this is something that money does. Money.
Oh no,
for
sure. Oh,
so,
it get dark sometimes about my family. It get.
But this is why this is
dark.
This is why this is a conversation, like, you know, to have, because, you know, we talk a lot about strategies, we talk a lot about instruments and all that, but what happens when you start to accumulate something and a loved one has to borrow? Like, what do you do? And I'm not just asking that to you. I'm asking that to everybody watching or listening to the specific pod. Do you have rules around lending money, or do you just leave it alone altogether? We talked in our Friday show a little while ago about Cedric the Entertainer's approach to this. He tried to create, like, you know, like a family bank where they can just like get money from. Yeah. And he set a budget every year, and even that got ruined. Even the idea like that got ruined, he said, because people started asking for more. Like, yo, you can give us more. So it's one of those things, man. And it's something that is different for us in our community and our culture than probably others, because we don't have the head start, right? So we don't have people sitting around with 20, 30, 40, $50,000 to that they can lose and still go. You know what I mean? Like that's life-changing money for some people in our community. So, I just want to know how you felt about that, man, because I saw this article, I was reading, I was like, Bull is crazy.
Bull is dumb messy. Like, he is just super messy. Like, and he just compound bad decisions with bad decisions. That's what I got from that article. Like, Bull is he's into compounding bad decisions. Like, my man is he must got compounding bad decisions.
Yeah, he must got a cocaine problem or something going on.
He is heavy on the compounding of the bad decisions. So I mean, that's like that jumped out at me immediately. Like, damn, boy, like, are you serious? Like, you can't be that serious about making that amount of bad decisions. Like, your family cut you off, your mom sniped at you from the grave, and they love you enough they still paid you. Like, can you stop making the bad decisions that keep making people cut you off?
And another thing, he's lucky that mom wasn't like ultra petty. She was super petty, but she wasn't ultra petty. I'm gonna tell you why. Because when you ultra petty, you calculate annual interest on that, and you say, whatever year I ain't here, this is the interest that's owed on that bread. Because she gave you an interest-free 20 racks. Like, you could have just said, "Look, mom, like, here's the thing about it, right? I'm not going to sit here."
Mom, I lost my job. I can't afford to pay you. Can you, you know what I mean? Like,
let me finish. Because what I was going to say is, I'm not going to say that I've never been in a situation where I didn't like ask my mom for a couple of dollars when I was a young boy. But if I didn't have the bread to pay it back, I say, "Look, mom, I'm still going to pay you, but can we renegotiate the terms? Like, and I'm gonna give you something, right?" And that's all he probably had to do. Like, mom's was patient enough to like clap back at her grave, which means that she probably would have worked with him. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But sometimes when people take advantage of family, man, and that's nasty work, right? You do that to mom, dude.
Yeah, like, I mean, at least I can say he made one good decision, which is he gave his sibling props for taking care of Miz. Like, that's the only thing in there that he said that made any sense. Everything else was like, what is wrong with you? Like,
so for you, right? Let me ask you this question: you someone, you got 4 young men you're raising. If they get and say, "Yo, pops, I need to borrow some money," they ask you to borrow money. How do you handle that?
Same way I would handle it with anybody else. I'm gonna either give it to them or I'm gonna say no.
Would you use it as a teachable moment? Like,
no,
I've had that happen.
There's no teachable moments with money with me. It's either I have it or I don't. Because I understand how people are. If I can't afford to give it to you, then I'm just going to say no.
Okay.
Because I'm not expecting repayment. I'm not expecting any repayment. You can tell me you're going to repay, but if I gave it to you, I'm not expecting it to ever come back. I'm just because I know how people are. People that perpetually borrow money don't have enough money to pay you back. Yeah. So even if they tell me they're going to pay me back, I'm not expecting any repayment if I give it to them.
And you saying that, you said something else occurred to me, right? You said people that perpetually borrow money. There's sometimes folks that may be in your family that have never asked you for one thing, right? And their brand is someone who's like solid. So your brand comes with you as well, right? Because there's also people in my family that like, they ask to borrow money every time they see you. You know what I mean? Like every time they see you, you go to cookout, nephew, like, oh, here he go. You know what I mean? Here he go. But then there's people that are just solid and, dependable folks. Like, and when they ask, it's a different thing. So I'm not one that generally borrows, right? So if I go to anyone in my family, like, I need to hold something, they're going to look at that completely different than like, other people in my family. So
yeah, again,
your brand within the family.
It's not an issue for me to give somebody whatever they're asking for if I have. Like, if they ask for a number I don't have, I just say no. I don't offer them no lower number or nothing. Whatever they ask me for, either I have it or I don't. I'm not giving them no. Like, if they ask me for $50, I'm not giving them $20. If they ask me for $50 and I don't have $50, no. Okay, I don't got $50, boss.
You just made things very binary. Either yes or no. Like,
Yeah, like, if you ask me for $1,000 and I got 800 of it, I'm not gonna offer you the 800. I'm gonna say no. I don't have $1,000.
So listen, because we gotta make this a long show, man. It's a quick pod. I want to make sure we had this conversation, but I want to know from the people watching and listening. How do you feel? First of all, how do you feel about this wild ass story? That's the first thing, because as we say in Philadelphia, bull drawn, right? So that's the first thing. How you feel about the story? The second thing is, do you have rules in terms of loaning money to family, or have you had any bad situations, from the experience of like loaning money to family? Like, so I would love to hear from the people listening and or watching, to give us a little bit of feedback in terms of that. Other than that, man, we appreciate you guys as always, man. This has been a very short, quick pod. This is episode 200 and Kevin Durant. Remember that Mondays is Stack Sats to Die Trying. Wednesdays is the By the Hood podcast. Fridays is the By the Hood Live. So, you got 3 pieces of content dropping every week. And then in between, we drop like, reels and, short clips and things of that nature. So you'll get more content from us in terms of that. But, yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, do all the YouTubey and stuff. But we appreciate all the support. Be careful loaning money to family, man. I want to leave that with you, man. You got last words for the people, Core?
Yeah, just, be good to each other, man. It's 2024 and the world is spinning out of control, man. Be good to each other. Like, just be very, very good to each other.
Also, last thing, this Saturday I'll be at the University of Pennsylvania teaching a little class for the youth. So if you got any teenagers, bring them through. If you're watching this on YouTube, check the community wall. I'll put the flyer up there for that. Also, our IG page, I'll drop that tomorrow by the time this pod drops. So yeah, just want to know we out in the streets doing things, man. With that being said, man, we appreciate you guys. But as we always say, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you keep. Game elevates, and we'll see you guys on our next episode. Peace.